The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
It's Friday evening here in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, as it is in most of the world, but in other parts of the world, it is now Saturday. My name is Rob McConnell, and welcome back to the X Zone. And the X Zone, as you know, is a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And if you'd like to find out more about the X Zone, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com for all the programming available on the X Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. There is 24/7, 365 programming with our compliments. And to find out what's playing on the X Zone TV channel that is exclusive to Simul TV, visit www.simultv.com. X Zone Nation, my guest this hour in this edition of the X Zone is David Lowery. The Paranormal Highway Man, as he's known. He's a loner, believe it or not, preferring to meet ghosts head-on, experimenting with ways of strengthening them, and seeking out places that they hide. David, as I said, is known as the Paranormal Highway Man, has developed a lifelong interest in the paranormal into a passion that takes him to the four corners of our great country and beyond. Forever seeking the holy grail of paranormal researchers, indisputable proof of existence, his methods and equipment are cutting edge in a rapidly changing field of research and investigation. Joining me now from the state of Illinois is David H. Lowery, a.k.a. the Paranormal Highwayman. And David, welcome to the X Zone.
Thank you very much, sir. Very happy to be here.
Well, it's super to have you. Tell us about how you got started investigating the paranormal, David.
Wow, it's been kind of a lifelong thing for me. I tell people that when I first learned to read in elementary school, one of the first books I picked up was called An Incident at Exeter, and it was about a UFO incident that happened in Exeter, Pennsylvania. A UFO was following power lines and that sort of thing, and that kind of got me hooked on UFOs. So I was into UFOs pretty heavily as a young child. My teenage years, I kind of drifted over to cryptids, fascinated with Bigfoot, and when I started hunting as a young man, I would kind of combine that with looking for footprints and signs and hoping that someday I would maybe come across a Bigfoot, and that's kind of an interesting story there. I'll tell you about that one later. I crossed over to ghosts pretty quick at about 18 when I was touched by a very famous ghost in a local defunct nightclub called the Lake Club, which actually has been on America's scariest places and that sort of thing. Very famous suicide ghost there who kind of messed with me one night, and that kind of turned me over to ghosts, and I've been kind of following ghosts ever since.
Wow.
So, yeah. It's kind of been an ongoing thing with me.
It certainly sounds it. Over the years, David, what has been your most pivoting experience? What has been your most amazing find when it comes to the investigating that you do in the paranormal?
You know, surprisingly enough, it comes just a couple of years back here.
Mm-hmm.
I spent 2 years as the caretaker and investigation host of Ashmore Estates here in Illinois. Ashmore was a former poor farm, and then became a mental hospital, and then a home for the developmentally disabled, and has a long history of it's considered on a lot of lists one of the top 10 most haunted places in America.
Wow.
And we have a little ghost there. Her name is Elva Skinner. Elva died on the location in the original poor farm. She went upstairs one night to get dressed in or one morning to get dressed, and her dress caught on fire from a candle, and she burned to death, and the first poor farm was destroyed. But I tell people that she was the ghost that was never told she was supposed to be quiet. We get a lot of EVPs and things from her, and me living on the premises and being in the place 24/7 like that, we had very close. So I would invite her to come with me on a tour and hold my hand, and I would get two little cold fingers. And, I've had gifted psychics tell me that she calls me Papa and things like that. We can get close to a ghost. It was certainly that way. So that's probably one of the most amazing things I've had.
Let me ask you, with this little ghost, did she ever appear to you as a full-blown apparition?
No, she hasn't.
No,
She seems shy like that. I don't think anybody really has ever seen her, but we certainly get a lot of EVPs and things that seem to confirm who she is. She loves to talk about her. Apparently, she had a dog there at the poor farm, which was kind of rare for back in those days. But she would say, "Have you seen my puppy?" And I have a dog here, and a lot of EVPs like that are very clear.
How old was she when she passed, David?
She was 4, almost 5.
God bless her.
One of the best EVPs had a good friend caught while recording my tour of the building, and you hear me say my name, and she's a typical 4-year-old standing next to me. She just kind of says, "I have a dog here," and it's just as clear as day. I said, "It's just a 4-year-old wants the crowd's attention," it's just very typical.
But the crowd can't hear her, right? Only on the EVPs.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it was only on the recording. Yeah.
Why do you think she has stayed behind and hasn't gone to the light or wherever people or children go once they pass?
Yeah, my opinion with children is a lot of times if they pass quickly like that, we get so many people get. I want my mommy. Have you seen my mommy? Have you seen my mom and dad? That sort of thing. I think they're just lost. I don't think they really know what they're supposed to do. And I think they end up staying that way. And it's heartbreaking, but I believe I think a lot of it is the cause.
Well, as the caretaker of the estate, had you ever tried to help her find her mom and dad on the other side?
I have tried a couple of times to talk to her about going into light and that sort of thing, and I'm certainly not trained in that area, but
you did your best.
People are, but I did my best.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
How many other? I'm sorry.
Oh, she just seems. I hate to say it, but happy there. She just always seems to have a good attitude.
Well, a happy child is a happy child, isn't it? No matter where they are, this side or the other side.
Exactly.
How many other spirits or entities are there in the estate?
Oh, there are many. I would say, there are. I don't know if we've ever had a total, but I would say there are probably 40 or 50 that we've had various contact names that come up and things like that. It had a lot of history, especially as a mental hospital. It was the 3rd floor was reserved for the worst of patients, and that area can be extremely active. And I used to tell people coming in that I believe that spirits are the same basic people as they were in life. They've just passed on to another place, and a lot of them retain their same personality traits. A lot of them were kind of mean. A lot of them, jokesters, and get a various types of people that you would think in certainly a mental hospital.
David, what kind of activity is there on the 3rd floor?
A lot of EVPs, a lot of disembodied voices. You'll hear conversations. A a lot. Even noises such as the old metal bedpans clanking. I hated that one. I would hear that occasionally, and it kind of reminds you of every time you're in the hospital with your parents or something. And it's such a noise you remember. And shadow figures, a lot of shadow figures. Yeah, I had always wondered about shadow figures, what kind of spirits they were, and there's a big controversy about really what they are.
Sure.
And I one night I was looked down the third floor hallway. There was a security light outside, so the big window at the end kind of lights the whole hallway. And as I was watching, a shadow figure went across the hallway dragging a leg, like it had an injured leg. And most people think shadow figures are something different. I mean, that kind of proved to me that they're just regular spirits and just happen to have have a little different form, or a certain time of energy or something have a little different form. Because if they were something different, you would think they would be perfect and not have an injured leg. So.
All right, David, stand by, my
there
friend. You and I have to take our first break. Exonation. David Lowery is our very special guest this hour. He's also known as the Paranormal Highway Man, and his website is, paranormalhighway.com. That's www.paranormalhighway.com. And David and I will be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. My name is Rob McConnell. Don't go away. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomenon, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Exonation David H. Lowery is our special guest, and his website is paranormalhighway.com. And David, where did the nickname, or also known as the Paranormal Highwayman, come from?
It kind of started, let's say, about 12 years ago now, actually. I lost my father, who was an Illinois deep coal miner, and suffered through that life, for 25 years.
Yeah.
Come out of the mine healthy. Didn't have a stitch of black lung, which amazed his doctor. That's very common, of course, breathing coal dust.
Yeah.
And he had an aortic aneurysm that took him after 4 years of retirement, and he really didn't get to do all that he planned. And so I kind of later in life, after my divorce and things, I said, I'm just not going to go down that way. I want to do what I want to do. I want to explore the paranormal, and I want to hit the road and kind of see America and find the paranormal there. And that's when I kind of formulated this plan to start traveling the highways of America and see what I could find just by talking to local people, urban legends, and that sort of thing. And one of the first plans was Route 66, and that one's coming up. A long story there in getting to that one. I'd be happy to tell you, but it's that's kind of the whole basis of it. And friends and when I started talking like that, friends were like, "Oh, you're just going to be a highwayman." Oh, and it kind of stuck. So,
well, it's very
It's
very appropriate, considering what your plans are and what you've done so far. In your opinion, where is the most haunted or the most paranormal place that you have been to date?
Oh, I think probably. I think Alton, Illinois, is one of the most haunted places that I certainly have ever experienced. Not too far from me here, about 100 miles south. Alton. A lot of us believe that the whole town is kind of haunted because it had a very, very rough prison there early in history, and a lot of death and a lot of violence and things. And when that prison was torn down, the various limestone rocks that were used in the prison walls and things were distributed about the town. And a lot of them are used in foundations and different walls and things like that of homes and businesses in the town, and it just seems to have spread that energy out. And there are so many places down there that have so much activity. So, and a lot of them seem to be connected with that rock.
So tell me, David, based on your experience and the research that you've done over the years, what is a ghost? Is a ghost the soul of a person? Is it the magnetic imprint on the magnetic field that surrounds the planet? In your opinion, sir, what is a ghost?
Well, we're taught pretty much from the beginning of school that energy can be neither created or destroyed. Mm-hmm. And we have a certain amount of energy in our body, and be it a personality, a soul, whatever you would like to call it, when we die, when the physical body dies, that energy basically has to go somewhere. And I think it is released. If they're, getting into the religious aspects, if there is some place where it goes, sometimes people don't. And maybe that's our conscience trying to tell us where to go afterwards. I've always expressed the theory that if you have led a bad life, a rough life, or committed suicide, we've always been taught that you will not go on to heaven because you've done these things. And I think that fear of being judged once you get to heaven keeps a lot of spirits from moving on to wherever it is that a spirit should go. And that's kind of my take on it. I think a lot of them, especially suicide victims, were told you can't get into heaven if you commit suicide. And so they're very prevalent out there. About any time you have a hanging or violent suicide of some kind, you're going to have a ghost.
But let me ask you this
ghost
then.
or spirit.
Let me ask you this: if it's only those who have led violent lives, or to coin an old phrase, you sow what you reap what you sow, and so on and so forth. What about that 4-year-old little girl who holds your hand? How come she didn't go over? How come she's a ghost?
Exactly. I think that's the confusion that she doesn't know quite what she's supposed to do, because her mother and father, of course, weren't there. And we see it a lot of times with family members. Maybe don't want to go. They don't want to leave watching over their family members. Or it's very common to have like the builder of a home who struggled and gave and just does not want to leave this place because he put so much into it, So I think there are various reasons for them to stay, whether some are conscious or not.
But help me try to understand the concept of the energy leaving the physical body when we pass. I can see the energy leaving, but how does the energy retain the wherewithal so that it is cognizant of the person's life who it just left? And why doesn't it just go wherever energy or matter goes?
That is the question for the monk on top of the mountain. I really don't really have a clue there. That's why we talk about the paranormal. There is no expert in the paranormal, because there's so many open-ended questions that we just can't answer. Nobody really knows, and so that kind of leaves it open to opinion. And,
but
that's why the paranormal is kind of so all-encompassing, because anybody's opinion is valid, because we just don't know. So.
Then what is the sense of investigating the paranormal? If up until this time we have no idea what we're investigating, how can anyone investigate anything with any certainty if we don't know what it is?
Yeah, that's it entirely, and that's something we wrestle with every day. The paranormal science, as a science, we can't really call it paranormal science, paranormal theory. It's going to have to go through, as any kind of discipline in science does when it's something unknown, it's going to have to go through a growth period where people are going to have to investigate and come up with theories, and then we're going to have to develop methods of investigation that can be correlated so that these different hypotheses can be made and papers published, and someday maybe it will become a real science. But right now, it's difficult. There's so many things. We're having a lot of people talk about quantum physics and things like that, how that may figure into it now.
But I think
different dimensions. There are a bunch of opinions.
I think that these are all opinions with a lot of people who really don't know what the hell they're talking about in plain English.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
What about all these groups? What about all these groups that are out there that use all this technology that they buy online? Is any of this of any asset in really doing a paranormal investigation, or is this just little gizmos that somebody's found a way how to make a couple of bucks on?
Well, they really do show some amazing things, certainly, especially in anything dealing with electromagnetic nature. We have adapted equipment from electricians that measure electromagnetic energy from various items. And we have found that when there is a spirit near, the electromagnetic equipment will read that. I have a good friend who has a degree in parapsychology.
Who's that?
From a university.
Who's that?
His name is Tim Hart. Tim Hart. He would be a good guest for you sometime.
I didn't know that. I didn't know there were any universities that gave accredited courses in parapsychology.
There are a few small ones, yeah. You're not going to find... There was one given out in the 70s, I think, by Kent State, and then the program was eliminated. The big universities aren't tackling it yet. But some of the smaller private institutions and things, they are starting to. And he has a unit called MESA, MESA. I think it's something sensor array is the last part of it. So, and he measures so many different things during a paranormal event: ions, static electricity, humidity, temperature. And, that's where we're going to have to go to turn this into anything. We're going to have some way to correlate that something is happening.
Is it possible? Is it possible, David, that the investigation or the equipment that is needed to investigate the phenomena is being based on the current knowledge of science and physics as we know today, instead of looking outside of the box and trying to figure out what if it is this or what if it is that?
Yes, absolutely. I always look to Nikola Tesla, who is a figure in history, very advanced scientist back in the days of Edison and that sort of thing. A lot of people know of him.
Yeah.
He was one who thought out of the box.
Yeah.
And there are certainly things that we still look back on to him for guidance in what we're doing. His talk of, energy and vibration and frequency, keys to the universe. And I think that's what it could be all about, because we're seeing, it's strange, like the voices I talk about, EVP voices,
Whoops, I'm sorry about that. That's my producer telling me I've got to get to my next segment, so
Okay,
please stand by. David Lowery is our special guest this hour. His website is www.paranormalhighway.com. That's www.paranormalhighway.com. And David and I will be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the iHeartRadio network, on the Mutual Broadcast Network, Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, Simul Radio, and Simul TV. I'm Rob McConnell. Don't go away.
From our broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond, you're watching the X Zone Broadcast Network. www.xzbn.net.
AVS Media Den.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologist,
facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Exonation David Lowery is our special guest. www.paranormalhighway.com is his website. And David, I understand that you prefer to work in these investigations alone. Why is that?
I do. It's I have spent time with a lot of time with teams. My sister-in-law actually started one of the largest and oldest groups here in Central Illinois, the Springfield Ghost Society, and I've worked with them in the past. But paranormal teams can be, I guess I'm a little more serious about it than most maybe, and some of the teams.
Right.
They tend to make a little too much noise. They tend to contaminate things. We try and teach them not to whisper on an investigation, because then somebody may record it and think that it's a spirit voice. And I just and plus I like to use the fight or flight part of my psyche to kind of tell what's going on around me. Certainly, when a spirit is near, you get a chill, you'll get the hair standing up on your body, you'll get a cold draft or something like that. So if you're by yourself, you're able to pick up on that sort of thing a lot more. So fear is a part of it. They say, don't you get scared by yourself? I say, well, yeah, absolutely. But I just have to remember that most of them are not capable of doing a whole lot of you. They just want to communicate. So you find ways to talk to them. So, there are the bad ones out there. We see on TV a lot of the paranormal shows and things. We see a lot of talk of demons. I've been almost a little over 30 years at this, and I've never met a demon. I've met some seriously bad ghosts. I call them bad head ghosties. That's what my daughter used to call them. These are just really bad people, and they like being really bad to the living after they're done too. So I've had to deal with quite a few of those. But the demons, I always try to assure people they're very, very, very rare. And luckily, knock on wood, I've never had to deal with one yet that I know of.
I've been talking to people who work in the paranormal, one aspect or another, for 29 years now. And it seems that paranormal investigators, for the most part, are using the paranormal as a social network where they don't seem to fit in anywhere else in society. They found their niche in the paranormal.
I think that's a very good observation.
And
a lot of us have certain things about us that don't quite fit in. A lot of us have some kind of psychic gift, some kind of ability to do things with our minds. I'm an empath, which is pretty common amongst us. That's someone who can sense emotions on someone else and is affected by certainly the living, and I think that makes us a little more sensitive to the dead too.
So, earlier, once again, and I keep going back to this vision of somebody passing and the energy leaving their body. Okay, so now you've got this energy that was contained by a human body that is now free, or let's call it the essence or the soul. Okay, the soul is now free. And you were saying before they want to communicate. How do they communicate if they're just energy? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, really. Certainly our surroundings and things have a lot of the ability to conduct things. By that I say things. We find things like moving water, limestone, quartz. That we normally associate with energy, kind of seem to conduct that. Limestone is very. If you have something built on limestone, a house on limestone, chances are it's going to have things in it. That kind of goes back to another long time theory about the paranormal called the stone recording theory, and that's where spirit, energy, emotions. At bars, this is very common in bars and nightclubs where there's so much emotion and so much energy expressed, it's recorded in the material around it. And oftentimes that will play back.
Okay. All right. Now hold on here. Okay, let's just stop it here for a second so I don't get too confused.
Sure.
All right. Okay, when you're talking about a bar, the ambience that is there from different people drinking alcohol, having a good time, and or whatever the case is, it's a meeting place. How does that get recorded into wood? How does that get recorded into glass? How does that get recorded into brass? I'm having a problem with this.
Yeah, we know. A lot. I guess it has a lot to do with the cellular structure of things. Quartz is probably the most prime example.
Sure.
We know that scientists have told us that quartz can record computer memory. So if that is true, then there may be some correlation here. Limestone again is very similar in construction and able to do that sort of thing.
But you don't. You usually don't find limestone in a bar.
No, not usually,
yeah.
unless it's underneath it. But so there has to be other things in there that are capable of this.
Okay.
How, we don't know. But certainly, I would think copper pipes and that's anything that may conduct energy might be able to store something like that. And again, it's one of those unknowns. These are just kind of theories that we're working with, and exploring.
Tell me about Blackbird.
Blackbird is a 1976 Avco 30-foot Class A motorhome, full of fiberglass. I spent many, many years restoring Corvettes, so I learned fiberglass quite well.
Oh, cool.
And I decided about 10 years ago that this trip was going to happen, this Highwayman thing was going to happen, and I had a dream one night that I was walking down a highway, and I got really tired, and I sat down under an old tree, and I woke up, and the tree was full of crows and blackbirds and ravens and things, and they picked me up and carried me off down the road. And so that's where the term Blackbird come from. So Blackbird was named before I actually bought the motorhome. And Blackbird, I started converting into a paranormal laboratory. It has a very extreme sound system, 5 computer systems, external infrared lighting and cameras and everything like that. So it is basically just outfitted to be my home away from home and a place where I can do my paranormal work. And I actually started that, like I said, about 10 years ago. Then in 2011, I had a simultaneous brainstem stroke and heart attack.
Oh,
and,
Jesus.
Came very close to dying. Actually had a kind of an out-of-body experience right before, not really into a true near death, but I was close. I was circling the room and heard the doctor say, "Oh my God, this man's having a stroke too." And I recovered from that. The nurses call me the Miracle Man. I recovered from it well. And then we found, and so I'm trying to work on Blackbird while recovering from this. And then we find out I have a AAA, an aortic aneurysm, just like killed my father. And so we started watching that, and it got bigger, and finally my doctor said, okay, we have to fix this. And
Yes,
luckily it
definitely.
repaired perfectly. But again, it's setbacks, and then I'm of course disabled from the stroke, so there's a money issue. So the rebuilding of Blackbird has taken me a while, but I'm not giving up.
Good for you.
I'm going to go down Route 66 in Blackbird, and we're going to find the paranormal, and I'm going to share it with everyone social media-wise and that sort of thing. I did want to tell your listeners, too, if they go to paranormalhighway.com, it is down right now for rebuilding. That is going to be my main place of contact with the outside world as I travel.
All
so
right.
I want it right. So it's being rebuilt to kind of the cutting edge of technology there. So it should be back up soon. But
What?
that's kind of Blackbird. It's my home away from
Wow.
home.
What does your family think of your paranormal exploits?
They're pretty good. My kids, I have two children. One is divorced in 2003, so that kind of eliminated that part. I have a brother and a sister. I've lost one sister. My brother and sister are very supportive of it. And my kids certainly feel the same way. You know, they're grown, have their own lives now. And so they support me in it, and I think everyone pretty much is excited about it.
Right. What about
It a lot easier?
what about Mrs. Lowery?
There is no Mrs. Lowery.
Okay.
I am single.
All right.
So yep.
So if there's any
I keep talking.
So if there's any ladies out there who are interested in traveling Route 66 who are also involved in the paranormal, get a hold of you, right?
Yes, absolutely. I live on Facebook. Come to find me on Facebook. Yep, definitely. Oh yeah, we talk of that co-pilot seat quite a bit.
Oh, you do, eh? I'm gonna change your name from the Paranormal Highway Man to the Paranormal, what should we call? Paranormal Romeo. I love that. Thanks, Craig.
There we go. I like that. Oh yeah. Don't you've been hearing too many things.
Hey, listen, David. We've got to take our final break, my friend. Please stand by. And Exo Nation, David Lowery and I will be back on the other side of this break. And as David said, his site is presently down. It's getting a major revamp, just like Blackbird is, so that when he goes down Highway 66 and across the great United States, he'll be able to report on the paranormal from a very unique place, a very unique vehicle, from a very unique paranormal investigator, the one and only Paranormal Highwayman. I'm Rob McConnell. David and I return after this break as we wrap up this hour. Don't go away.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light. David Lowery is my special guest this hour, Exonation. First of all, David, I want to thank you so much for joining us for a very interesting hour, to say the least. And earlier, David, we talked about Bigfoot. And have you had an experience with Bigfoot?
I have, actually. Or at least we say I have. I mentioned switching from Bigfoot very quickly when I was a teenager. A couple of years ago, I was at a local meeting that we have of paranormal people where we all kind of get together and talk about things. And one of them said that a Bigfoot had been spotted at the Hobbs farm, which was right next door to where I used to hunt and look for Bigfoot. And I talked to a few psychics and to a couple of psychologists, and they theorize, because I tell people that I'm not afraid of any demon, any ghost, haunted houses by myself, whatever, kind of fearless in that way. But Bigfoot scares the stuffings out of me.
Why?
And so they theorize that I may have encountered one back then, maybe face to face, and it terrified me so much that I blocked it, like most children do, something most young people do when they have an experience like that. So it's probably going to take hypnotic regression or something like that to really find out why I have that deep-seated fear and why I quit so quickly like that.
Maybe you just got bored.
That could be too.
Yeah.
It could be too.
So
I'd like to go with a much more romantic version of being scared, but we'll have to see. Yeah, regression.
Oh yeah, there we go. He's looking at the empty passenger seat beside the driver's seat, and he's thinking about romance again. Jeez, Dave.
I can't get away from it, can I?
Jeez, no.
No doubt.
So do you think that, or do the psychologist that you spoke to think that this is the same thing that happens to a person who has an encounter with a UFO or an ET, that the memory is lost of the event in order to protect the experiencer?
I certainly think so. Yeah, I think that is a very good hypothesis there. That it's certainly seeing something like that and realizing it's real is going to affect a person. And yeah, I would think that would be entirely possible, and maybe the reason why so many have trouble with it. Certainly.
With all the crypto people out there these days with trail cams, high definition cameras, sound equipment, every conceivable form of camera, how come there has not been that all conclusive photo of Bigfoot yet? The closest thing we have to a conclusive photo is the Patterson-Gimlin film.
Right. I really think I don't my opinion is not necessarily a popular one in the Bigfoot community, but it is gaining notoriety, and that's that Bigfoot is something we have no idea what it is. I believe it's dimensional. I believe this creature has some way of coming and going from someplace else. Call it a portal, call it a wormhole, whatever. The ability for an animal that big to go behind a tree and just disappear is just, it's a little unfathomable.
But
and
wait
there
a sec.
has to be something else going on.
But how do we know the animal goes behind a tree and disappears when there's no conclusive proof that the animal has ever been seen?
Yeah, it's been seen. Definitely, there are a lot of people who have not conclusive proof with cameras, but there are certainly so many eyewitness testimonies. There are so many footprints. There are so many footprints that there's not enough pranksters in the world to make them, and some of them are so anatomically correct you can make out bone structure and actually make out almost like a footprint. I mean, like a fingerprint would have. There are ridges and things on the bottom of the foot, much like a thumbprint or a fingerprint. And some of these prints you can make out detail like that, something a prankster could never do. And for some reason, be it again, we come up with these theories to explain things. One of mine is they are very telepathic. They can tell you're in the woods before you do because their senses are much higher, and they may have the ability to hear your thoughts like we have always theorized aliens do. One of the amazing things is there is a lot of correlation between Bigfoot and UFO sightings. I have had teams out in cemeteries doing paranormal investigations. They will get rocks thrown at them from the woods, and that's something Bigfoot loves to do. And then there will be a UFO sighting, in the same kind of area. So they seem to be very close together there sometimes. That's another thing we're working on. Their curiosity and about humans, and kind of sometimes gets them in trouble, but they're very, very, very smart. And I think the portal thing would explain why we never find kills, why we never find their dead. They take them and they go someplace else. So,
okay, so these are two different theories that are coming up here, because the first one is that there's an association with UFOs and the Bigfoot, and then we're saying that Bigfoot, there's a possibility that Bigfoot takes its departed and goes through a porthole. So how can we have two different theories? Which one is the most likely?
Well, I think they certainly. I like the portal theory. The UFO thing may just be coincidence, or maybe overactive imaginations on the part of the investigators. But it does seem to happen a lot. But I like the portal theory more than most. There have been reports of flashes of light and things like that when these creatures are seen, and that would certainly go along with the portal theory. So, but once it's still in such infancy. The whole field, these are things we're still exploring.
But once again, you said the flash of light, which goes along with the porthole theory. Well, we don't know if there are portholes, and another thing we don't know is if in fact there are portholes, there may be no light associated with it.
That's true. Yeah. Certainly wormholes and that sort of thing probably aren't going to have that, but. It's just we're trying to keep all this data together and look for similarities.
Sure.
And, it's like UFO people have been doing for years with sketches of the aliens. We know now, seem to have a general opinion of what they look like by decades of drawings of them that seem to all correlate the same. So it's going to take a long time for the paranormal to become a science, and a long time, a lot of exploration. I certainly won't see it in my lifetime. The next person coming along, maybe not. Who knows? But then again, theory of evolution started out pretty much the same way. So everything has to start somewhere.
But evolution is traceable.
Yes, that's true. That's what makes the paranormal that much more difficult.
Why do you think, David, that the scientific community does not take the paranormal very seriously?
It's still just a little too far out there, I think. Most of them they're based on facts. They're based on things they can see, things they can feel, things they can demonstrate over and over. Things that different scientists across the world can perform an experiment and come up with the same thing.
But
how
can we say that?
Hard enough evidence yet.
How can we say that when NASA sends probes out into space to investigate? They have no idea what they're going to find, and yet they spend billions and billions and billions of dollars into space exploration. Why wouldn't
the government really doesn't like acknowledging anything that they can't control. We've seen this since, oh my goodness, the beginning of the 1900s, certainly, with the government controlling any information about UFOs. There are just numerous documents and conspiracy theorists that the government is covering up UFOs because it will cause panic. They don't feel that the American public or the world in general is ready to admit that there's something out there. It may cause panic. It may cause war or whatever. I think that's the same way with Bigfoot. I mean, do you think the U.S. Forestry Service would want to admit that there's a 9-foot tall, 700-pound primate out there that could rip you limb from limb?
But on the other side, on the other side of the discussion, if we put the government conspiracy aside, if the U.S. Forestry Service was to unequivocally capture a live specimen of a Bigfoot, it would be a big feather in their cap. It would actually show that the U.S. government Forestry Service is actually looking to preserve as well as to find and to bring these new finds to life. I really don't believe that there's a government conspiracy out there, because in today's technological world, anything that is hidden can be and will be exposed. David, our time has run out for tonight. I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Absolutely.
Happy trails to you. Happy trails to you in your Blackbird, and I hope you find a young lady to accompany you on your tour down Route 66.
Thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it.
You take care, David. And Exonation, if you'd like to find out more about David, his website is paranormalhighway.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. I am Rob McConnell. Don't go away. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, join me, Rob McConnell, as together we'll investigate the world of the paranormal and the science of parapsychology here on the X Zone Radio TV show on XZBN and the X Zone TV channel on Simul TV. Since 1990, the X Zone Radio TV show has been the place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. Together, we'll investigate UFOs, aliens, ghosts, Bigfoot, psychic phenomena, lake monsters, conspiracy theories, government cover-ups, the truth embargo, alien abductions, ESP, haunted locations from around the world, and so much more. With over 28 years of broadcasting and more than 4,500 individual guests, the X Zone is truly a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality, as evidenced by the credibility, integrity, and professionalism of the guests that we bring to our international audience. If you have seen a UFO, had a close encounter, seen a ghost, Bigfoot, lake monster, or a story that you would like to share or have investigated, contact me, Rob McConnell, by sending me your email to xzone@xzoneradiotv.com, or you can call toll-free 1-800-610-7035, extension 143, and on Skype, X Zone Radio TV. For more information on the X Zone Radio TV show with yours truly, Rob McConnell, visit www.xzoneradiotv.com or www.xzonetvchannel.com or simultv.com and xzbn.net. Until next we meet here in the X Zone from our broadcast center and studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, always remember, X Zone Nation, keep your eyes to the sky and your heart in the light.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.